Oh, Leah, good morning.
Sorry.
Well, we didn't have you for anything special here, but,
Well,
she called you.
No, she came, yeah, Lynn called her back there
Oh,
to talk
okay.
about the infrastructure fund.
Right, I got it now.
We, in 10 minutes, though, we have Kennedy and Potts, but you can probably give the answer in 10 minutes, I'm sure.
So the question is,
Yeah, that.
So, yeah, we have two payments out of the infrastructure fund, the GEO bond and the Public Works Trust Fund.
correct.
So the other day we had the TV district come in, and they're trying to get the TV deal up and running, and they were talking about some money, wanting to try to. They've gone out and it seems like they've secured a lot of different people that would invest money in that.
They did secure $75,000
From
recently.
good, like between the time that they talked to us and now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So how much? So they were talking about money, and I was thinking, oh, well, that would be a good thing for the infrastructure fund because it's infrastructure to the county. But how much money do we have to keep in reserve, I guess, or in the fund balance for those two payments?
Yeah, so the Public Works Trust Fund, usually, just to make this quick, usually you want to look at the last 2 years of bond payment to make sure you cover that.
Okay.
So infrastructure by itself would be about $600,000.
600,000 be what you want to keep in that, right? Okay, good. That's what I thought. So we have 769 is what we budgeted. I think.
Well, that's not counting Public Works Trust Fund.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering.
It's, Public Works Trust Fund doesn't have a backup payment, right?
Excuse me?
Public Works Trust Fund doesn't require the same backup payment as the, bond, right?
It doesn't require it, but as these payments go on in the infrastructure, in the PWCF,
Yes.
they're up there.
Yeah, you want to budget for it, for sure. And then there's the payment to the Economic Alliance. And there's 100,000. And then there's the payment for the Stampede.
Is that something that you track? Okay.
Okay. So basically, we have $169,000 left over after the GEO bond, but that doesn't even make 1 year's payment of the Public Works Trust Fund.
And right now, in that, in the 117 fund, there's just under 1.2 million in there.
Cash on hand.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not budget.
No.
What was the budgeted carry? Let's see here. So, okay, here's a question. We budgeted $950,000, I believe, in the infrastructure fund. I'm looking at a budget sheet that was on December 4th, I think, sent to me. So I'm not sure if that was the actual final number or not. But, Lainey, can you pull up Eden, or is it still it goofy right now?
Well,
could you just check the budget on 117 to see what the carryover was?
I can that in Excel to see what our final budget had.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Keeping in mind that at that time we didn't know what the December amount would be for 117.
No, I know. I'm just trying to. What we're trying to do is figure out. We want to. I think we all want to try to help the TV district out and get it back up and going.
Yeah.
But not. If we could take it out of the infrastructure fund, that would probably be good.
And their funding source for repay on that, or
wouldn't be a repay. Yeah.
So you're just going to loan them the money, or you're not going to loan them the money? You're just going to.
Well, does the Stampede have to pay back? No.
That's part of your whatever it is that Economic Alliance.
We've never loaned the money.
Right. That's what I thought.
Does that have to be improved? I don't know. That doesn't go through me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, the money is for economic development activities, so it's, to be spent on it. So it's not a revolving fund or anything like that. And then,
get to any of it. I can't seem to get to any
Okay, well, that's okay.
Excel or Eden.
Oh, Eden you can't get into.
No.
And Excel is, right now, it's,
So if you're saying that we have cash on hand of 1.2 million, and if the number that I have is the true number that we budgeted of 950, that's $250,000 more in carryover, which would then put us at $1.1 million in ending fund balance.
yeah, the only thing, when this fund was first set up, and I don't know, maybe you as commissioners could find this out at the state level, but it was my understanding that nothing's guaranteed on this fund. Do you know anything about that, Commissioner Brennan?
yeah, they've tried to sunset it before, but it doesn't go. The only problem that's come up recently is they're trying to get a couple more counties into it, watered it down a little bit, but other than that, the legislature seems interested in continuing it.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're right, they did have a time.
I know there was a lot of discussion there for several years about it, you know.
Yeah.
You're not gonna see this every year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because the ending fund balance and the actuals pointed to $1.2 million. So.
Yeah, and it's always been a really,
Great.
Yeah, I know. It's always nice when when numbers like that work out.
it's always been a tough one for the Economic Alliance and the cities and towns to interpret the budget because of all those details, you know, and timing. So it's almost like we should bring a couple of the people involved in paying the bills to the meeting so that they know.
Well, I'm kind of protective of this fund, excuse me, for the simple fact of the bond payment, you know, defaulting on the.
Yeah.
But in the one bond, I had to hurry and grab the bond book, sorry. So we've got 21, 22, and 23 left.
For which?
For the infrastructure.
Oh, for the GEO bond?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? That's good.
Which is, you're probably talking
4, 6.
maybe 800,000
Yeah.
with interest and everything for those 3 years. Okay?
Total, huh?
For those on that one, yeah. It's the one that is for the PWTF that, because it goes till for another
Beyond my
15
lifetime.
years or so, 2036.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's one that there's, you know, I mean, there's some money coming into that more than there was before, that's for sure. We can resolve these issues with Veranda Beach, there may be even more. Because they have some plans for additional housing as well that they're trying to get move forward. And then, you know, like this last year, the housing authority paid connection fees. So it really goes with the economy out there.
It'll be good to get something resolved on that.
But 3 years, that's the good stuff. We'll be talking to the cities again over that period of time, so we don't get against it.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Anything else that, I mean, I don't feel like I helped you very much, but.
No, yeah, you did.
The lobbyists are going to be on the line here soon. Is there anything in the ledge that you have concerns over?
We're working on it. I'll let you know. With the emails that's been out, I got bombarded this morning.
Yeah, right. You got to get caught up now.
Yeah, I'm getting caught up. So, I haven't even read through it, to be honest.
Okay.
But I saw that there were several out there.
Okay. Well, they're going to talk about a few, but I did see.
There is, I'll tell you right now, there is a big concern among treasurers about a state bank,
About what?
having our own state bank.
Oh.
I have my own viewpoint on that,
Right.
and I think I'm not in the minority.
Well, if you have some time, next time you're up on a regular basis, could you fill us in on what it is?
Yeah. I've got the number,
Okay.
you know.
All right,
Yeah.
great.
That they tried this before,
Uh-huh.
and, there's been a lot of research done on that, with the previous state treasurer, Dwayne, Davidson, and, his assistant state treasurer, Sean Myers.
Mhm.
So there's some,
Was it them, the state treasurers that tried to start the bank?
no,
Oh, I see, okay.
no.
It's a political thing that, is beyond it.
So anyway, but it's up for discussion, I think, this year
Okay.
again.
Okay, I'll watch for that.
Anything else?
So just to be kind of clear, if we have 2 years in reserve for the GEO bond and 1 year in reserve for the Public Works Trust Fund, that would be sufficient, is that correct? So that's
And
about $850,000, and I think that we have, is that right? 2.5 is 5, and another 3 is 8. Yeah, somewhere around 850, I think. So I think we have a little.
I think there is wiggle room, especially if we know those funds are gonna continue to come in. And I think they come in quarterly, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's good news.
And they're on sales tax, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I try to protect this fund, because I'm like.
So what would happen, I guess my question is, what would happen if, because that's for distressed counties, is that right? Retail sales tax for distressed counties? What would happen if they said, no, we're not going to give that to you anymore? Are we then, is the general fund on the hook to pay that bond?
Absolutely, it's backed up by property tax.
That's one of the reasons that they haven't, so, because there's counties that went out there and bonded it. And, they would probably be in for a lawsuit over it.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And city too, for that matter.
Yeah, yeah, because if they took away basically the collateral that you had given, that's, yeah.
Then you've got other problems, because then it has an absolute trickling down effect on how it affects other things as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thanks, Leah. Is that Zak's voice we hear?
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Well, we just got back in touch with our electronic programs.
Oh,
You may have heard.
you guys are having some serious problems.
Yeah. Yep, we were invaded by bad actors.
Oh boy. Well, I'm glad we're able to get this done then.
Yeah, no doubt.
Did you guys receive my email that I sent out yesterday and this morning?
Yeah.
I forwarded those to you just a few minutes ago.
Yep, we got them.
Okay, cool. Wanted to make sure I just checking. You had to forward to your Public Works or something like that as well, just to make sure you guys got them.
Yeah, I think I got a few of them.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Was there anything on there? I don't know if you guys have had a good chance to review them. Is there anything on there that you saw that stuck out, or would you prefer that I just kind of go through and tell you what I've got?
Why don't you go ahead and talk to us about it? And then I have had a lot of conversation about what you sent, but these guys haven't. So.
Got it. All right. Well, I think number one, the thing to point out going on actually right now in a hearing in Senate Law and Justice is 5078. And that's the very first one on my list there for January 25th on Monday here. And it's addressing firearms safety measures to increase public safety. Specifically, that's going after high-capacity magazines. It suffice it to say it's completely contrary to anything that I know you guys want to do. It really limits the high-capacity magazines, says you can basically have them right now if you have them, but you can't get any more. You can't take them out in public. You can't do anything with them. So I think they're going to see a lot of I looked at, well, how about this? On that email that I sent you, there's a couple of links that I highlighted in blue, and it says you sign in a bill, a committee, click here, general testimony page can be found here. If you go to those links when you have a few minutes, You can actually see who's signed in on a bill to testify one way or the other, what their position was. This bill has some pro sign-ins, but it's a majority of con. I think the legislators are seeing, I'll jump to another one real quick, 5114, which is safely reopening Washington. That's that's basically what they wanted to do, is move to phase 2 under the governor's plan right now, which opens everything to about 25%. That includes restaurants, bowling alleys, bars, things like that. The small businesses in the communities that are really suffering. 25% isn't enough, but it's better than nothing right now, is kind of what they're thinking. So that bill, Senator Hunt and the committee, the chair of the committee, had planned on voting on that bill, but they had over 1,000 people sign in to testify in favor of the bill. And a few testified against it, but primarily in favor of it. And he decided to table the discussion on voting to a later date. This bill really, it's exactly contrary to everything the governor is trying to do and open things up ahead of what he's doing. I've been asked by another county, they have a 5 corners meeting, and allegedly all 5 corners, that's the majority and minority leader in both House and Senate, and the governor have to sign off on his emergency plans to keep things shut. Been asked if everybody's signing those documents and agreeing to keeping the businesses closed and everything, restrictions in place. I have not been able to get a straight answer on that. So this bill would really go around that. But long story short, we're kind of seeing what happens when they open things up to the public and give more access to these committee hearings. In almost every hearing that I've seen, the committees have received a lot of feedback from the public. And it's actually, pretty reasonable feedback. People want to see things open back up. They want to see, not a ginormous gas tax that seems to be coming down on top of with what the current new administration is doing on the federal level to, the fracking and the oil pipeline. We're probably staring down the barrel here of $5-6 a gallon fuel again, if we keep on the path that we're doing. And we're already in Washington State the highest taxed population in the United States for, in terms of a state on the gas tax. To add insult to an injury, the older cars that suck, really suck gas are kind of starting to fall apart every year. We lose more of those. And every year, more fuel efficient vehicles come on, even electric vehicles that don't take any fuel. So in terms of funding for the state transportation budget and just other things that they use that money for in the gas tax, it's diminishing returns every year. And so it's really not the vehicle that they need to be using to generate revenue for what they're doing, but they're very uncreative and can't seem to think of anything else. So here we go. Some of the other stuff that's going on in terms of firearms legislation, I know it's really important for your constituents up there. What I will be doing is I will put together a whole list in a separate email this afternoon for everybody with all of the firearms legislation that is proposed this year. Everything's been filed. And like many things, I think what we're going to see, and this is kind of a general commentary to what we're seeing this session, there's nothing out there right now that is like a glaring, like a beacon in the night, like, hey, you need to oppose this, or you need to support this bill, or whatever it is. It's a lot of little sneaky things, the little changes. You start looking at different things. Specifically, there's a bill talking about fish barrier removals. And what it does is it clarifies what the Department of Fish and Wildlife Authority really is to do that. There's just a lot of different little things like that where they're catching us in the detail. And so we're having to, comb through everything with a fine tooth comb, make sure that it doesn't, come back and catch us in all this. A lot of talk is happening over here. Well, I say over here in Olympia. I'm in Spokane, or north of Spokane, so it doesn't. In the legislative circles, there is a lot of conversation right now around the public health districts and these regional public health districts, and everything all the way down to, there's a bill talking about micro kitchens. The micro kitchen would actually allow, it would allow for, you in your own house to basically make jam and sell it on a street corner or something. I mean, it's a bad example, but something like that. But long story short, what they're doing is they're removing local control where the local control should remain, and trying to put down on the locals things like inspections of a small kitchen that really should be done not by at the county level or the municipal level, but really should be done by the Department of Health. So we're seeing a lot of that stuff come down. There's a lot of opposition to specifically these regions, the health regions that they put together, and that very directly comes out and loops you in with a much bigger area and removes local control on your local health board and puts it in with somebody, an appointed director that may or may not understand your needs. So we're doing our best. And, of course, BOCC and basically everybody else that is involved in this is really doing our best to let the legislators know that this doesn't really work on the local level for us, and that our concerns really are loss of local control, and in turn, we lose service to your residents, which is the most important fact here. So that's kind of my spiel right now. I may have forgot a couple little things in there, but I think I'll throw it out here for some questions from you guys, and then we'll take her from there.
One thing this Commissioner Hover, one thing I was curious about was, I thought that the Court of Appeal, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and that California case had thrown out that large capacity magazines and them being unconstitutional, and so I can't figure out why they're trying to push this here when it's already been looked at in court.
Well, and I think the answer to your question, Andy, is they don't care. They're going to go after whatever they can right now. And, they're going to say, challenge it in court. Go ahead. Maybe they thought they changed the wording a little bit. But as I read it, it's ridiculously restrictive. And I think the rationale in this particular bill is, we're not telling you can't have them. We're just telling them you can't buy them, can't trade them, can't take them anywhere.
Right.
Just another approach to the same issue.
So I guess my next question would be, you have those links in there.
Yep.
And you said that so I click on one of those and it says committee sign in remote testimony.
Yep.
For one of the links. Then the other link is the page that says participating in committee hearings. Where do you go though to see who has registered to testify, or what position they have? Okay,
so let's take, if you go to the first link, it's the committee sign in, and if you click on Senate,
hang on a second. Okay, Senate. Oh,
please select your committee. Let's go down to Law and Justice. Click on that.
Yep. Okay.
And then on the meeting tab, click on the 9:30 a.m. tab.
Okay.
And then let's click on 5078, which is the firearms bill.
Got it. Okay.
And then right below pops up, yep, see who is signed in for this agenda item.
Yep, got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you for walking us through that.
Absolutely. Now, there is something that I kind of outlined in that, but you absolutely need to know, unless you are an hour early for that committee or more and sign in pro or con on it, your testimony and your position will not register on that link. For the committee members, and to pull it onto that link, a committee member has to literally go in and grab it and pull it out somehow. So we just learned that, literally we were all signing in. I'm like, where in the heck is our testimony? Where's our position registering? Well, there's kind of two little areas that this happens. So if you guys want to submit testimony or testify on something and you're having questions, please just let us know. We'll get it facilitated. It is still far better to make your comments to, the sponsors of the bills, the committee members ahead of time, which is extremely difficult this year. As you can imagine, the legislators are ridiculously busy, and now they're on the phone constantly. And they've got a couple of phones, they've got WebEx, they've got Zoom, they've got all these things going on, so they're hard to get a hold of. The legislative aides are becoming extremely important and much more engaged than they ever had to be in the past. I hate to say it, but it's kind of looking a lot more like DC right now, where you work with the legislative aide until something really starts to happen, and then you get to talk to the legislator. So just because it's so hard to filter, all the information, and we've removed that in-person contact, which has been difficult for everybody. And I truly do feel bad for the aides because they're stuck at home and buried in work, and they don't even get to talk to their seatmate next to them. So, we're doing the best we can with what we've got with this. We're really hoping that maybe they'd consider Representative Dent's proposal, which was to, finalize a couple of little budget issues here at the very beginning, and then adjourn till April, and just kind of, let things simmer down from the election, the inauguration, COVID, they're getting more of the vaccines out there. Just kind of let everything simmer down, come back when they can open the windows, let people into the Capitol building and do this right. So far, there's no. So.
Yeah, testimony's pretty short too.
Yeah.
On the budget is a minute and a half.
Yeah, and on some of them, they're limiting people to a minute, and it's actually a timer in the computer program there in Zoom, and it doesn't matter. Nobody has control of it. Once they hit go, it's 60 seconds, whatever.
Just turns off.
It absolutely does. And I know we're coming to the end of our time here, so I wanted to tell you guys, of course, it could be beneficial if there are things that you see that you want to comment on. If you make a list and let us know, I would recommend we set up some meetings with legislators, like directly over Zoom, to talk with, and if you guys can't fit that into your schedule, absolutely, we're talking to the LAs and legislators when we need to. But we got to get in front of them and actually make sure they hear us, because quite honestly, even in the committees, when they look at who signs in pro and con, it's hard to sift through all the information. So we just got to be that squeaky wheel.
Yeah, we need to know which ones are the most important to actually talk to, because sometimes our own legislators are in agreement with us without much discussion, but there's those that aren't, that we really need to reach.
Absolutely. Well, I can kind of put together, a list. We have a new Senate Minority Leader. And obviously, Representative Jenkins is the House Speaker. She's very difficult to get in front of, but, I'll put together kind of a list, and we'll kind of update you guys with maybe who we could get on a call with. And also, WASAC is doing a pretty good job, at their steering committees and just hosting different legislators and different presentations. Right now, one that might be worth talking with is Representative Riccelli. He's kind of spearheading a lot of this public health stuff, and he's sponsored several bills, and he's pretty vocal about it. And on almost every piece of legislation that he's put out there and is standing behind, we have some serious concerns with. Maybe a conversation with him, really kind of stressing the local control idea. So
good.
Well, I will do that. If you guys don't have any more questions at this point in time, I can let you move on to the next one. I'll get the firearms legislation, just a list of everything out there. I'll get that out this afternoon, and then I'll follow up with you guys on maybe a couple conversations you might want to have, and see what you want to do.
Hey, Zach, would you also check on one thing? I don't know where it's at recently, but the $0.09 is there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's happening? Is there anything happening with that in terms of trying to eliminate it?
Okay, I will check on that and see if there's
any. The last I saw, there was just the only changes being proposed was they're trying to get some more counties in there. Seems like they were border counties or something like that. But if you could check, that'd be great.
Absolutely. I will check on that and we'll get back with you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank
All
you.
right, thanks, gentlemen. We appreciate it very much.
All right.
Dan McCarthy came in on Friday and thought the board would be interested. Darn, I didn't make copies. Hold on, let me make copies and I'll come right. He thought this information would help answer some of the questions you had for him. He had turned in the larger packet when he originally submitted his resignation, but it has a lot of information he thought would answer some of those later questions. Some of the pest control agent reports that are attached, he pointed to.
Oh, did you both also get so Will Carpenter was at the Apple Maggot working group. And nobody was there present from Okanogan County. He lobbied for Okanogan County, basically saying that, why put the entire county in a quarantine area when you only have these certain spots and you haven't tested basically in between these spots. And they, it seemed like what he said was they tended to agree with him. And so it's pushed out a year to do some more trapping.
Yeah, that was good.
Thanks. Huh?
They said, yeah, I got that. That was good. Yeah, thank him for that.
What's that?
John Delaney was also part of that discussion with Will Carpenter had to postpone Okanogan County.
I get this meeting packet that I had for last week. It has a number of bills that were discussed, and I will share that with you. They sent it to my personal email. See the packets here.
Would there be any, the consent agenda is set. There's only 3 items on it. Would there be any opposition to moving that to today and just getting that done with? So that the building inspection agreements can go back out and the letter can be ratified?
No problem with it at all.
Talk to Laney when she comes back. With some things.
Yeah, I don't see why you couldn't.
Laney?
Yep.
Since the consent agenda is already set and we have the ratification of the support letter for the TV district and then just 2 interlocal agreements,
Mm-hmm.
is there any reason why we couldn't do that right now?
No.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to move the consent agenda up to 10 o'clock right now.
Have a motion?
Yes, that is a motion.
Second.
A motion and second to move the consent agenda up to 10 o'clock. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
All right.
And I would move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
Is there other things, Laney, that are sitting on your desk that need to be completed?
Don't think so.
Oh.
We have commissioner meeting minutes, but you really need to be able to look at those in email, which I can send to you if you'd like to look at those. I think we have a couple couple weeks. We have last week and then the week before. It will take me a little bit of time to get last week's onto a Word document and reformatted. I'm still checking emails.
We'll be able to have it for tomorrow, though.
Yeah, I'll get those sent to you, your email for you to review,
Okay.
Before tomorrow, for sure.
All right.
But other than that, I don't have anything.
I guess when everything kind of comes to a crawl, then there's not much sometimes to catch up on.
Yeah.
We go the opposite direction.
So, everybody heard about the, vaccines being administered at the fairgrounds?
So what?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'd heard that who was it? Maurice, I thought, had talked a little bit about it,
Mm-hmm.
and so they actually did it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We talked about it, nobody seemed to be in any opposition, and I said, I don't see a problem with it at all, and they inoculated, I think, over 500.
Wow. Any, did they say, was everything okay?
Everything seemed to work really well. Yeah, they backed up traffic a bit. That was a concern by a couple of people, but it was like giving the vaccine today.
Yeah.
Which
Sorry
was
for
important.
your inconvenience. I know.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
So, and there was quite a last minute rush. I
And
think,
where
the
would
last
they have
hour.
backed up traffic at? I mean, just on
On the
the
rodeo trail.
Rodeo Trail Road, right?
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, drive up, drive around, drive back down.
But Maurice said, well, next time he would actually use the north end as a queuing area,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, given the circumstances, I thought it was great that they pulled it together so quickly and got him out.
Who did that?
Actually, I think it was Health. What's up? Arranged it. I think the board, Health, I think Larry arranged it.
I thought it was going through something like
Hospitals.
Yeah, I thought it went through something else.
It was North Valley and Mid Valley.
North Valley, Mid Valley, okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, it all went.
No, I was curious if it went through, if it was,
They're the only ones giving it, as far as I know.
I was wondering if it was like a larger state agency or
Oh,
something.
no. Yeah, and there's places in other counties in the state, they didn't move that quickly as far as getting it out. They went down the line. They weren't getting it out.
Did they have, was it first come, first serve, or was it, only if you could get it? Because I thought there was something where you had to fill out a deal to see if you could get
I
it.
think that was first come, wasn't it first come, first serve?
The shop,
Yeah.
it was, by appointment, so they had,
We'll just,
like 475
sign,
people were on the list.
sign down here and I'll write
So
your
you
name
just send
in
them out.
the
They did
proper
it in
order.
half-hour increments.
So I'll put Commissioner Branch here, Andy there.
And so they had to have been pre-registered for it to get the messages, but then there was people that ended up taking it over on it.
Yeah, because they're about the last 45 minutes. Maurice called me. I called my wife, said, go down and get it. She went down and got it. Last minute.
They had extra ones.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the same
Extra
then?
over and above the appointments they had. That's good. Thank you. It's great to have you in the room.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, she signed up right there. She said, if you want one, you better get down here. And I said, well, I can't get down there that fast.
Really good. Good, yeah.
There was a heck of an improvement over what they wrote because it had some redundancy. You see, I said, it's overlooked at that.
Well, that's good. Good.
Yeah.
You can,
10 sentences that were a paragraph and a half long, so
Oh, yeah.
even the ones that are there left are a little long, but they
Okay.
got the point across, I guess. Yeah, our notice for today, came out with one of, the notices that Maurice puts out, and the agenda was at the very end of it, so I got calls that said, "Are you having a meeting?" And I said, "Did you get the public notice, the notification system?"
We'll read through it.
Yeah, you had to go clear to the bottom of it.
Okay. That's a good lawyer.
Yes, the testimony for going on, like on the transportation committee, it was, like I said, a minute and a half. I mean, you better pare way down to get through that in a minute and a half. I hate to be cut off.
Yeah.
I testified on behalf of the Field Deer Foundation project, but I also mentioned that we have a letter submitted that supported it as well.
That was the
Crossing.
the crossing. Yeah.
I called WASC and asked them about that. So that worked out for them. And they said, yeah, we're testifying in favor of the budget, but they were getting into specifics. And there's testimony, I think it was today or tomorrow, on the bill for broadband. And we have two people that are very familiar with it that are testifying in favor of it.
Amy?
Yeah.
I'll ask the same question, but would you come over here for just a second? Because Jim signed this one up where he was supposed to, and I figured that would just be, you just cross out chairman, put member. So I signed there.
Oh.
Well, that was the first one he signed, I think. And then this one, he signed where my name is.
Right. We're gonna cross out the name.
Okay.
And we're gonna
So I
just handwrite you in the other
So I'm
spot.
in the middle.
Yes.
I'm in the middle. This one. Okay, so the only one that's different is this other one. You don't even have to ask a question. All you have to do is sign the slot remaining blank on those.
I like that.
Yeah. Easy. Well, then we don't have anything till 2.
Right.
Is there anything else right now?
I want to just point something out to you that I've been working on some planners with the Planning Association, or the American Planning Association.
You've been working with who?
With a group of people on American Planning Association.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them are just with them, but they reached out to several of us that either were retired or not doing planning work anymore, and we're creating on their website a resource guide for planning commissioners, elected officials, and those sorts of things, so they go to that one place and look at a lot of different information. So I've been working on that. I've done less of the work. I just review what they have going on there because, and one thing I did bring up, and they're going to do some research, and I told them that I would get frequently asked questions, so if you have any, and that is, so there's very little, no emphasis at all, hardly a mention of partially planned counties.
Yeah, because how many even exist?
I think there was in the teens.
Oh, well, that's more than I thought, I guess.
I thought it was 15, 13, or something like that. I asked that question. That might be a question we put on the frequently asked questions too. But just different questions that come up regarding 3670, and then so we're going to do some coverage. And those guys are going, where are we going to find out this? And it's like, gosh, you guys are old guys, come on. Because they been, you know, in 1990s when they started planning under the act,
Mhm.
and they just went that way. So they forget it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially APA does, because they just have less relevance to rural counties.
Right. They forget that
Yeah.
there's things that we're not doing.
So, we are going to have that
Well, that's good.
up and running here for a former, Department of Commerce employee, and she was the planner for, Adams County for a number of years, who got a hold of me. She was one of the past chairs of the Planning Association in Washington, and there was a few of them on there. So, yeah, I'm working with her.
Lainey, did you say Dave was not here today?
I left him a message and asked him to come up as soon as he could, if he was here. He
Never
like to
got,
do.
never got back.
He must not be here.
I'll be right back. So, Dave said that he was gonna try to get, because Tadas had sent him an email that he just got. So he's gonna try to get them on the line for 9:05 tomorrow morning.
That'd be good.
So that we can all, discuss that. So instead of coming out today or whatever, we're just all, that way Pete will be here and everything else.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
We could have a day-long executive session if we really.
I think that we could get it, I think we can get it hammered out, as far as, you know, what we're not gonna do.
Yeah, we just need to make sure that they have enough guidance in their planning department to know what to do.
I know. And that things are different here or than over there and all that other stuff. And then, I also got a phone call about, I think we need to discuss like the Mazama sub-area, you know, because they have their own comprehensive plan, and then the Mahal comprehensive plan, you know, I think there's a little bit of, kind of not really knowing that those documents exist and have been, accepted by the commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we need to kind of talk about those things too. Because there's sub-area zoning in there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, shall we adjourn?
You all got to look at the, did you all get my,
Yep. I did. Yeah,
okay.
Which I think is the amount of money, I think that's the amount of money we put in the budget, wasn't it? That's the rate.
Yeah, I believe she's following the budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think, are we gonna be
The agreement looks a lot like that.
yeah, so we're gonna be the employer.
Yeah.
Host, right? Yeah, employer.
As
And
far
then
as-
they're just gonna pay us a contractual amount of money to do services for them.
Right. Yep, that's pretty much the deal. And again, that's the model is, really a lot like these. They're the one that they had 3 towns had between them. Except it'll be 2 and it'll be just planning for the issues. Yeah. And then, that's a good time to talk about the Brandon Beach thing, because that person then would be, working in Brandon Beach because of the intertie with utility systems and that kind of thing. Is that hearing make a motion? Is that?
Yeah, you didn't, because I wanted to make sure I got everything, all the information from you.
Okay.
Oh, well, Lewis, done.
Don't have anything else.
So I'd move to adjourn till 2:00 today. Second.
Motion and second to adjourn till 2. Good for you? All fair side?
Aye.
Aye.